right, the weather is inclement as hell, so it's a great time to go for a run. Let's do it. So revitalizing. What it feels like to be alive. Here comes some deep water. Love it. Some people will never be blessed with the will to put themselves through this kind of suffering and to reap the rewards thereafter. Hi folks, Canadian Prepper here. So I got a bit of a motivational rant and a challenge for you today. I challenge you to go and do something as soon as possible, right now, after this video, that is extremely uncomfortable. Uncomfortable in a way which is not detrimental to your health, of course, but uncomfortable in a way that something is very challenging. You know, I don't care if it's 3 in the morning when you watch this video. If it's 3 a.m., go for a run. If there's something hard you've been neglecting to do, go and do it right now. I had an experience last night, and I've had these experiences before, and one thing is for certain is that you're only going to remember certain things in your life. Like if you go back into your memory banks, there's certain things that stand out for certain reasons. And for me, some of the things that always stand out are those moments of extreme emotion. And last night I went for a run, which was an extremely adrenaline rushing experience. I run all the time, but the difference was here, it's very rare that I'll go for a run when it's pouring rain. Not that I don't want to, but it's just because we haven't had many severe rainstorms lately. So when we get them, it's few and far in between, and to time it right for my runs doesn't always happen. Last night it happened. It was a total downpour, a near flooding situation, and we got slammed pretty hard. And I went for a run with the dog, and it was an absolutely amazing experience. It reminds me of the time I went for a run in a blizzard once. It was totally just the craziest weather you would ever want to run with, but it was the most invigorating thing. And the reason why it's important for you to do this is not only are you going to get accustomed to doing things which suck, but you're also going to have a spiritual experience. It's going to occur to you in some way. You're going to receive some sort of sign from the universe. I don't know if you're not a religious person, maybe you've read some Carl Jung, who talks about this concept called synchronicity, which is basically kind of like meaningful coincidences, glitches in the matrix, if you will. It's when two things coincide for you in a very unique way in your life, and it makes you think that there is a master plan of sorts. I'm going to come back to that in a minute, because something spiritual happened to me yesterday, and it's something personal I'm not going to share, but it happened. And these things always tend to happen when I put myself in these situations of extreme stress and adrenaline and emotion and all of those things, which really do make us human. Because when you have artificial intelligence now, which can pretty much compute better than us, it can think better than us, it can strategize better than us, it can remember things better than us, the only real defining aspect is those things that I just mentioned. Those emotional, motivational, arousal type experiences. So I made up a saying, and the saying goes like this: it's better to be neck deep in the crap than it is to have one foot in the crap and one foot on the nice brand new rug. And what I mean by that is sometimes you really just have to fully immerse yourself in the crap to really see what you're capable of doing. For me, it's easier if you work up a really good sweat. Like if you can just accept that, okay, I'm sweating, you know, I'm gonna be a sweaty mofo for the rest of the day, and you get into that mode of, okay, I'm sweating, instead of being in the mode of you're feeling good, you got one foot on the nice carpet, but you're kind of sweating a little bit. So it's almost like if you don't have anything to compare it to, it's better. So I guess what I'm saying, a lot of the things we fear doing is because we don't fully immerse ourselves in it. We kind of just put our toes in the water, see if it's cold. Anybody who knows, you just got to jump in. You just got to jump in. That's the easiest, most painless way to do it, instead of gradually going in and, you know, walking out into the cold water. And as more and more of your body gets exposed to the cold water, it's better to just jump right in. And if you jump right into this, like what I'm saying right now, go for a run at night. If you live in a bad neighborhood, good. You know, if you can carry, carry. If not, just find a way to deal with it, because when the crap hits the fan, we're going to be in a permanent state of discomfort. And we've become so used to not having to struggle, not having to suffer at all, that I think that if people were to just experience some hardcore physical intensity, like you've never experienced, like a 1 in a 10-year experience, you would be reminded of what you are capable of. So when it's raining out and you wanted to go for a run, don't be like, oh, well, I guess I'm gonna have to go tomorrow. Go then. You know, do shit that is hard so that you can have that spiritual experience. Now, coming back to the spiritual experience, I truly think that the reason why a lot of people do extreme sports and a lot of adrenaline junkies do what they do, it's because you're the most alive when you're almost dying. You have to be living on the edge to truly live. The high point of life is on the edge of life itself, because that's when you experience every possible emotions. That's when you're at the crossroads of life and death. And I seriously do believe that that is when you are the most in touch with the universe, with what's going on around you, when you're in that state of mind. Right now, when you're sitting there in front of the television set on the couch, you're as far from that as you can possibly be. It might be comfortable, it might be, you know, a pleasurable experience to some extent or the other, but you're pretty darn close to dead when that happens. Remember, the faster your heart beats, the more alive you are. And it's like a newborn or unborn fetus, you know. It's like they're the most alive when they're born. That's when their heart's beating the fastest. That's when they have the most neurons in their brain. Most people don't know that you have the most actual brain cells when you're an infant, and those cells slowly die and get sorted out and get sorted into different pathways, and the synaptic connections build between them, but the actual brain cells die. So this is why children are so, their curiosity, and some people, some mystics might say that this is why children are, if you believe in the paranormal activity type stuff, that children are, oh, I just got chills when I said that. That children have a greater connection to that side, just like animals have a greater connection. You know, and I know I'm getting a little wishy-washy now, but I think you can grasp what I'm saying. Go and challenge yourself, man. Not only is it going to lead to your physical self-improvement, your emotional self-improvement, and your spiritual self-improvement, but it's also going to make a memory. And it's important that when you do this, you do something different all the time, because if you just keep doing the same thing, it becomes routine. You have to build a new neural pathway. You have to bushwhack a new, imagine a forest full of trees, and there's a destination on the other side that you got to get to, you got to cut a new course through that. And you're going to remember that first experience of cutting that course, but the more and more you run down that course, you're going to forget. You know, I go for a run 2 or 3 times a week. I don't remember any of those runs, but I sure as hell am going to remember the run last night, because something happened which was so synchronistic, if you will. For some of you would say so spiritual. For some of you would say it was a religious experience. But it was something that reminded me that there's definitely a lot we don't know. And it brings me peace to know that there is that thing out there. And the only way you're going to have those experiences is if you put yourself in those situations. Like, you don't have those spiritual experiences if you're just working the 9 to 5 and you're doing everything in the same routine all the time. You got to get out of the comfort zone in order to experience that. Remember, you're most alive when you're living on the edge. Let me know what you think in the comment section if you've had similar experiences before. Thanks for watching. Canadian Prepper out.